Stormers 2019 preview. It's safe to say 2018 was pretty disappointing for the Stormers. It was that year where Robbie Fleck had been building and building. You know, they'd gone out in a pretty embarrassing way a couple of years ago now. And they had that result where they beat the Chiefs in the regular season, but then again lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs. Last year was supposed to be the year that kind of came right, and things didn't pan out their way. Injuries certainly didn't pan out their way. Their injury toll at some points was pretty horrendous. I mean, that's not to say other teams didn't have injuries, but the Stormers' injuries did seem particularly bad, and the schedule was not kind to the Stormers at all. They were on the road from week 2, and I think it was 4 losses in a row, and it was always a hard road for them to come back from there. So yeah, 2019 has to be a year of improvement, especially when you look at the players they've got. So we'll have a look at the players, who's come and who's gone, who's still around, how's the schedule looking, what are the bookies saying about their chances, and what are some kind of key talking points for the Stormers this season. So we'll start with the players who have left. JC Janssen van Rensburg has left. He's gone to Europe. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of the key guys. Nizam Carr, he went to Wasps, so I don't think he finished the season last year from memory. So he's been gone for a wee while. Duwal Duvanaka, he's gone to Benetton. I think underrated player for mine. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he left as well. Raymond Rule ended up going to France as well. So a fair few guys left, but largely the squad is pretty similar. And they have bought a few kind of young guys, and we'll have a look at those guys as well. So the propping stocks for the Stormers this year: Blosa, Fouchier, Kitsov, Kumbirai, Lowe, Malherba, Mazibuko, and Vermaak. So to be fair, I'm not familiar with all these guys. I mean, you got Wilco Lowe, Stephen Kitsov, and Franz Malherba, Springbok. But then there's a few guys like Blosa has come in from the under-21s. Likewise with Kumbirai. So you guys will have to let me know how kind of hot these prospects are. Have they been impressing at their age group level? I'm not too sure because, yeah, there's absolutely no coverage of that where I am. Hookers, Kone Fariz come over from the Lions. They've still got Bongi Mbonambi, Skara Tubeni, and Chad Solomon has come up from the Curry Cup team. Again, Mbonambi and Ntubeni are Springboks. Ntubeni has had pretty bad injury woes the last few years, but hopefully he comes and stays fit. I know Mbonambi had bad luck with his appendix last year. That kept him out for a long period. It's just, that was the Stormers' luck last year. A guy has an appendix injury or appendix incident, and then that keeps him out for a long period. So, yep. Locks, they've listed Peter Steph-Tutoy in there, but he could equally be deployed in the back row. Itzebeth, Salma Murat, Schikkeling, Van Rijn, Van Sale, and yeah, Van Rijn's from the Curry Cup. I'm not familiar with him either, so please, any insights there. But man, Itzebeth and Tutoy, top class Springboks. It's Itzebeth last season with the Stormers, so he'll want to do something. Schikkeling looked good last year, another guy who had injuries. Murat, from what we saw of him, a young guy, and he looked pretty solid when we saw him play as well. So, I mean, the Stormers should be doing something when they've got that. That's a Springbok front row, a Springbok second row, and then the loose forwards, you've got, Sia Khaleesi, Springbok captain there. There's a lot of Springboks. I mean, I know neither of the hookers are the first choice. They're behind Malcolm Marks, but still, they're not lacking for depth and talent. Loose forwards: Johan du Toit, Sia Khaleesi, Chris Mason, Sukumbuza Noche, Kobus Visa, Nama Zaba, Jono Augustus, Jaco Kutsia, and Kobus van Fake. I've heard good things about this guy Augustus, and I'm looking forward to see him playing. I don't remember if he played at all last season. I think he might have played 1 or 2 games the season before. I don't remember seeing him for the Stormers last season. I hear he's kind of the next big thing. Didn't he win some age group award at a pretty high level? Supposed to be a top-class talented player. Noche is coming along strong. I know he's got his doubters as well, but There's enough depth in those loose forwards to do a job as well. Into the backs, scrum halves, DeVet, Yankees, it's Herschel Yankees, Justin Phillips and Jano Vermaak. So they've lost Duvanaka, so who gets the starting job will be an interesting one. Fly halves, Jean-Luc Duplessis, Joshua Stander and Damien Willemse, although there is talk that Willemse will likely be playing fullback this year, so that's another one to watch. I think Duplessis perhaps has the inside running at the 10 jersey, but again, time will tell. He impressed at 10 last season, did Willemse, so I'd be happy to see him playing. As long as I see him play, I'm going to be happy either way. Midfielders, De Allende, Daniel Duplessis, JJ Engelbrecht, who can be just deployed in the outside backs as well. Dan Creel, Ruhan Nels come over from the 7s, Eve Viljoen. So again, you got Damien De Allende, he's a Springbok. I mean, I know all the South African teams have got Springboks in them, but the Stormers do have quite a lot. Outside back, Dylan Lade, Sergio Peterson, Duncan Saul, Sebo Sanatla, Edward van der Merwe, Craig Berry, SP Marais. So I'm going to say this about a few of the Stormers guys. It seems like SP Marais is actually one of my favourite players. And again, I know he's a player that a lot of people don't like for whatever reason. Maybe the people in Western Province are pretty harsh on some of their players, or maybe you guys have just got more insight into seeing him play at other levels, but I saw a bit of him in the Currie Cup and he seemed to be tearing it up there as well. Sanatla's class, Sergio Peterson can definitely do a job. Dylan Lades is Mr. Versatile, so even Craig Berry looked good from what I saw of him last season too. So I look at that squad and I feel like they should be doing something. But anyway, I guess we will see. Coach Robbie Fleck continues on, despite a lot of calls for him to perhaps move on to greener pastures. Maybe his time had been served, but he's determined to keep on. I think this is the last year of his contract, so he'll want to make a statement on his way out. I did hear him being connected with jobs in Europe last year, but nothing seemed to come of that. So yeah, there's a few new faces, but they haven't done a Bulls and kind of brought in some big guns. Not really. All the guys come in either kind of from Currie Cup under 21s or the 7s. So yeah, maybe that's a monetary thing, that they're looking at the finances and not willing to splash the cash. I don't know. Splashing the cash doesn't always work. So I'm not too unhappy that he's bringing through the young guys, because you get them playing the way you want them. You mold them, get them into your systems. You don't have to kind of get them to unlearn anything that they've learned to other teams. So it could be a good thing. How's the schedule looking? Well, it's better than last year. Last year, their schedule, as I said, was pretty bad. They start away to the Bulls, home to the Lions, and then away to the Sharks. So they're all in South Africa for the first 3 games. Then they got a bye. Home to the Jaguares, and then their tour starts. Hurricanes away, Blues away, Reds away, and Rebels away. So that tour could be worse. It comes at a decent time. They're coming after a bye. 1 game at home and then immediately playing away doesn't seem to work. I would have thought if it had been the Jaguares at home in week 4, a bye in week 5, and then touring in week 6, then you've got that bye week to perhaps leave for New Zealand early, get yourself adjusted. But hey, it's Super Rugby, so we know that the byes are going to be in funny places. Brumbies at home, Bulls at home, so that's going to be a pretty tough stretch. So 1 game at home, 4 games on tour, and then 2 more games at home, Brumbies and Bulls. And then a trip to Argentina, Jaguares away, before they get another bye. And that bye is sensibly placed. So they fly to Argentina, play the Jaguares, come back home, have a rest. That makes sense. I do appreciate that in terms of the scheduling. But week 14, Crusaders at home, Highlanders at home, Lions away, Sunwolves at home, and Sharks at home. So it's not terrible, but I really feel like that middle period of the season is going to be make or break. Got to beat the Jaguares at home. Hurricanes, Blues, Reds, Rebels. Hopefully for them, get 2. At least 2 results. You'd probably be targeting the Blues and the Reds as the weakest of those 4 teams based on last year's results. And then that Jaguares away fixture, given that they've got a bye the week after, hopefully they send the full-strength team. They don't muck around with sending a kind of B team like the Lions have been known to do in the past to rest players. It may be that game is still make or break, so they may need to send the best players anyway. And then that little home stretch, Crusaders and Highlanders. If the tour has gone badly, then they could be hard coming after the bye. Lions, Sunwolves, Sharks. So it's not an easy schedule by any means, but I feel like it's still got a bit more about it than last season. Last season they didn't win a single away game, and they played the Sunwolves. So it was not the best year for the Stormers at all last year, but especially with their away form. They need to get some away wins. They need to take points off the other South African teams when they're away. Sounds simple. They need to win some games on tour, especially targeting the weak teams. And I'm a Blues fan when I say this. The Blues are a team to target for an away win. Likewise, the Reds. So it's a big question about how they're going to go. So can they win an away game is a big question for me. Can they win on tour, which is also counts under that away game umbrella? Can they convert some of the Springbok talent into Super Rugby form? Because last year it didn't happen, but again, injuries. Can they develop all that youth that is coming through? There's certainly a lot of talented young players in that squad. The likes of Willemse, the likes of Augustus. I'm keen to see how these guys come along. And yeah, can Robbie Fleck just find that winning formula? It seemed like he was on the right track. Like I said, they got a hiding in that year when they didn't play any New Zealand teams. They had a quarterfinal against the New Zealand team, got smashed. Then it seemed to be a step up. They got the formula right. They lost the quarterfinal still. Was it a quarterfinal? Pretty sure. And then, but they had beaten the Chiefs in the regular season with that, was it the Dylan Lades offload from the ground? That was a magic game. It seemed like they got it right. And then last year was just a huge blip. So we'll see if it's a blip or if Fleck just doesn't have what it takes, basically. Absolutely make or break year for him. The bookies have the Stormers as the 10th equal favourite with 2 other teams. So if I was a Stormers fan, I would be hoping that they can be competitive in the South African Conference, and at least pushing for a playoff spot given that squad. But the bookies are not backing them to do it. Yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the squad. How do you think the team is going to go? Do you think Fleck can find that winning formula, or do you think he is just not the man for the job? Players you're looking forward to see playing? As I said, give me some insights into these young guys coming through, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.